So now we're going to look at lesson 8-7, which is estimate differences. Remember, the difference is the answer in a subtraction equation. So your I can statement is, I can use what I know about subtraction and place value to estimate differences. This is going to be similar to 8-6, where we estimated sums, but it's our opposite operation, so we're doing subtraction instead of addition. Our solve and share says, Sarah collected 356 aluminum cans to recycle. Pierre collected 112 cans. About how many more cans did Sarah collect? Solve this problem any way you choose. So, Sarah collected 356 and Pierre collected 112. So, I can use compatible numbers for this. So numbers that I think are easy to add or subtract, in this case, subtract in my head. So 356 and 112 are my original numbers, 112. And then I'm going to make 356, 350. And I'm going to make 112, 110. So if I were to subtract this, 0 take away 0, 0, 5 take away 1 is 4, and 3 take away 1 is 2. So she collected about 240 more than Pierre. And if you have, she collected about 250 more than Pierre, that's fine as well, because you could have rounded 112 to just 100 instead of 110, which that's fine. I just chose to use the compatible numbers and round to the nearest 10, but I did round down for 356. So that's it's just what I chose to do. I thought these compatible numbers were easier for me to use. I also could have made 356, 360, and then my 112 being 110, both rounded to the nearest 10. So 0, 5, 2. So if your answer is either 240 or 250 for this part, either is fine. Okay, and moving down for the look back section, generalize. So what can we decide? What do we now know? What rule or anything else can we create about the work that we've already done? Which strategy gives you an estimate that is close to the exact answer? How did you decide? So I'm going to pick rounding to the nearest 10. Okay, and you have to be listening to know what the R and the NT stand for. So rounding to the nearest 10. I picked this because when rounding to the nearest 10, my rounded numbers are closer to the actual numbers I used to get an exact answer. So in this case, if I round to the nearest 10, 356, and I did show this up above, but I'll write it again down here, becomes 360, and 112 becomes 110. Which gives me 0, 5, 2, 250 as my answer. And I rounded to the nearest 10 for this, again, because when rounding to the nearest 10, my rounded numbers are closer to the actual numbers I use to get an exact answer. So 360 is very close to 356, and 110 is very close to 112. Okay, moving to the next page. Our essential question on page 442 says, how can you estimate differences? So, all of the tickets for a concert were sold so far. 126 people have arrived at the concert. About how many people who have tickets have not arrived? So, they tell you how many were sold here, 493, and then they show you the equation that you'll be solving, and then they'll be showing you how to solve here. So they say for one way, round each number to the nearest 100 and subtract. So 493 becomes 500, 126 becomes 100, and 500 minus 100 is 400. About 400 people have not yet arrived. And another way is to round to the nearest 10 and subtract. So 493 becomes 490, and 126 becomes 130. So about 360 people have not yet arrived. So if you notice in the one way, our answer is about 400, and in another way, it is about 360. So again, your answer is not always going to be the same as everyone else's. Obviously, there's still a correct way of going about doing the one way and a correct way of completing the another way strategies. But these two answers are not the same. Are they close to each other? Yes, because we're estimating. We're not looking for exact numbers or answers just yet. Okay, in the convince me section at the bottom, it says, suppose 179 people have arrived at the concert. Use the two ways shown above to estimate how many people have not arrived. So my new equation I'm going to write over here. My new equation is 493 minus 179. So if I were to do the one way, I would round to the nearest 100. 493 would become 500, and 179 would become 200. And when I were to subtract, it would give me 300. And if I were to do the another way strategy, so to the nearest 10, I would round 493 to 490, sorry. I would round it to 490. And then I would round 179 to 180. Which would give me 310. Are 300 and 310 close? Yes. Are they the same exact number? No. But I showed the two different ways to solve based off the strategies they gave us to show 493 minus 179, the estimate. Okay, so it's about 300 or about 310. Okay, another example, you can use compatible numbers to estimate differences. So this is, again, another strategy. It's the first strategy I showed on the first page. I'm using compatible numbers. So to estimate 372 minus 149, the compatible number they used for 372 is 375, and the compatible number they used for 149 is 150. They subtract those two numbers and they get 225. For the guided practice, it says, do you understand? Does rounding to the nearest 10 or to the nearest 100 give an estimate closer to the exact answer for 295 minus 153. So they just want to know if you rounded to the nearest 10, would your answer be closer to the exact, or to the nearest 100? Would your answer be more exact? So if I were to do to the nearest 10, my equation would be 300 minus 150 is one option. For the nearest 10, let's put nearest 10 here, and then 300 minus 150 would give me 150. And then if I were to do to the nearest 100, I would do 300 again, minus 200, which gives me 100. So my two answers I have to look at are about 150 and about 100. And then over here, I'm going to solve the exact. So 295 minus 153. So 5 take away 3 is 2, 9 take away 5 is 4, and 2 take away 1 is 1. So is 142 closer to 150 or to 100? It is 8 away from 150, and it is 42 away from 100. So rounding to the nearest 10 gets me closer to the exact answer. Number 2 says, a theater sells 408 tickets. 273 people arrive. About how many more people are expected to arrive? Use compatible numbers, show your work. So I think that 408, a compatible number, a good one for that would be 400. And a compatible number for 273 would be 275. And if I were to solve 400 minus 275, I would get 125. So about 125 people still are expected to arrive, who still need to arrive. For 3 and 4, you have to round to the nearest 100. So for number 3, your answer should be 100. For number 4, your answer should be 500. For number 5 and 6, you have to round to the nearest 10 to estimate. So your answer for 5 should be 290. And your answer for number 6 should be 520. Okay. Again, just giving answers, but remember to pay attention to your directions when working on this. Nearest 100 for 7 through 10, nearest 10 to 11 through 14, and compatible numbers for 15 through 18, so your answers may not be the same as mine. Okay, so my answer for number 7 is 100. My answer for number 8 is 300. My answer for number 9 is 200. And my answer for number 10 is 500. For number 11, my answer is 280. For number 12, the answer is 160. For 13, the answer is 120. And for 14, the answer is 310. And like I said before, your answers for 15 through 18 may not be the same exact answers that I get. So don't worry. As long as they're kind of close, then you should be okay. So my answer for 15, I got 500. For 16, I got 175. For 17, I got 380. And for 18, I got 250. Okay. So you've made it to the end of this video. Good job. If you have questions, let me know. Check your work using this video. Please, if you haven't been doing it while watching, after you've watched this, let whoever know, so then they can let me know so you can get your extra points. Okay, bye guys.